So, I was going to there's Ontario or Toronto, right?
That's the one that's by me.
Yeah. So, they said, "Hey, book your flight, blah blah blah." Cool, right? Mm-hmm. So I booked my flight, booked my hotels, and realized that I flew into into Ontario when I was supposed to have flown, and the hotel was supposed to be in Toronto. That is not a close distance. It's not like a 30-minute drive. I think it's somewhere, John would know better, but I would say 7 hours away from where I was supposed to be. So yeah, I had to get back on the plane because take one from, I had to get to travel from Toronto. From Ontario to Toronto to actually get to my distributors.
No, I could be wrong here in my Canadian geography, but I think Toronto is in Ontario.
We could ask our guest in a minute.
Well, no. So right above Washington and all that, what would that area be of
That's
Canada?
Vancouver.
That's okay. I flew into Vancouver and I was supposed to be in Toronto.
Okay, so you flew straight up.
Yes.
All the way to Vancouver, and then
I had to fly all the way across. I had to get across.
It's the entire country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Toronto's
it was a bad fuck up on my part.
Richie.
Was that like a 6-hour flight?
I was flying in 3 days early so that I could go sightsee and hang with some dudes and like smoke and stuff before I worked. So it actually worked out where I didn't miss any work whatsoever. But yeah, it was a little bit of an error, and I did not get the hotels refunded from Vancouver. They would not, because I had bought them on a third-party app.
Ooh, brutal. Well, guys, Jeremy, Tony, Zach, I watched a video this morning that as soon as I watched it, I was like, I have to share it. I have to share it with our audience. I have to share it with you guys. And I don't want to build it up too much. I've already built it up too much to Tony and whatever. But
was it the dog and the crocodile?
No, this is the greatest. Like, you listen to like sports commentary and somebody is like giving like an epic description of what is happening. So I heard the greatest like fight commentary in the history of like all commentaries. And I was like, I got to share with the guys. It's funny.
Does it have to do with a pie?
It does not have to do with a pie.
I'm going to put my pee-pee in your pie.
No,
in your pie.
There'll be none of that. But here it is. You guys will just watch this here.
No, it's going down. Go ahead. Oh, what we wilding? Oh, they wilding. His ass out. Motherfucker! I just want my sandwich. No. Go ahead. Get away. Yeah, Paul, move, bro. Move, Paul. Let them boys do what they gotta do. Take him to the sky. Up top, chicken box. Bro, pull up your pants, fam. He doing a stomp move. No. Wow, 2 in the morning. You ain't got no camera? Shit, might as well. They wildin'. Y'all tired now. Y'all tired.
I ain't tired of shit. I'm tired of this.
Y'all already know. Take it outside. Y'all boys get from the register so I can pay. Y'all boys just scoot over real quick. Y'all boys about to get back and just come pay me for my shit right quick. You wildin', fam. Yeah, they tripping out here, ain't it? It's 2 in the morning. Just let go. That's all you gotta do, fam.
I told him let me let go.
If y'all wanted to end, y'all both just let go. Y'all both dap up. Call it quits. Y'all got a good one in. I like it.
If I let go, he's gonna go.
He ain't gonna do shit. Y'all boys just agree to not motherfucking hit each other. It don't look like it. Whoa, there it go. Oh, your pants gonna be off soon, fam. You know this good footage. Ooh. Okay. He said he ain't done. Like that. Do what you gotta do, fam. Yo, he wildin' with this shit like that, though. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I can't post that. Yo, you tripping, fam. Pull your pants up. It's still going. Yo, I'm trying to tell him it's done, fam, but they don't want to. He say, fuck that. He ain't going. He ain't going. He ain't going. Fuck that. Fuck that. You good. Get up out of there. 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 You gone. You gone. You gone. Police coming. You know that. You gone.
We need to get that guy on our show that narrated the whole thing because I love it.
I want him on the show.
He's like, I like it. I like it. Just pull up your pants. This is good.
I feel like Jeremy's been in that situation a couple times.
That was the greatest commentary I have ever heard.
Hey, have you ever had?
Oh my god!
I'll tell you this. If you ever want to get out of a fight, like a fist fight, and it's going to happen, just get naked. No one wants to brawl with a naked dude,
Except for those two dudes.
Oh my god!
You have exceptions, but
he didn't start naked. He ended naked.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying when you disrobe, you become a lot. It's a little crazier. Like they're like, I don't want to get down with this. Just letting you guys know, little tips to be safe out there.
Well, with that, I got to tell you, podcast people who are just listening to the podcast and did not witness that amazingness, just go and search Wawa fight, and you will be treated to the most.
And I'm sure. Wait a minute. I think if you search Wawa fight, I think that there's going to be multiple results.
You know, if you search PP and pie, you can find a lot of stuff too.
And with that, we're going to go to start on the show.
1 shot, 2 shots, 3 shots, 4 shots, 1 shot.
Hello.
Well, hello all.
And welcome to another fine week of 4 shots with myself, Tony Bellato. I have to change my name to the last part of it. Is that my surname?
Sir Tony.
Did you see that $49.95 you can become a lord in Scotland? Have you seen this yet?
Oh, I'm doing it.
Yeah, you get like like when you get airline tickets or whatever, it's like Sir Jared, and it's not Sir, it's like Jeremy McDonald, and you have like initials at the end of your name, and you have I
already own some constellations. My daughter last year for Christmas bought me some space.
Ooh, well you can own a square foot of land in Scotland and become a lord, which I think you should do because you're Scottish, aren't you?
Yes.
Let's do a shot.
Scotch Irish. Let's do it. I love the sweater, by the way. It's very festive.
Oh, check these out. I bought myself, since I have a new house now, I bought myself house slippers because I feel like what house is complete without house slippers? So check these bad boys out. They got fur in the inside.
Those are very old man
Look at that.
But they do look very cozy.
They're on my feet as we speak.
Well,
cheers.
Cheers to the start of
Happy Thanksgiving,
another show.
Shot number 1.
Okay. So with that, a couple of housekeeping things to start the show off. If you guys could share the show while we're live and after, we're doing a contest currently. It's going to run to the end of the month. The more shares you guys share, more shares that are shared, the more entries you get, and this month is sort of sponsored by Youngstown Coffee Company. So the people that share the show the most, Brandon has the actual rules and the fine print. So send him a lot of emails.
Yes.
But this month is going to be a Youngstown Coffee Company situation where we're going to send you guys out some Youngstown Coffee Company stuff. And we are working on 4 Shots swag as well. Hopefully we can give away some cigars here in the next couple of months. But we really appreciate the shares and the likes and the follows and the listens.
I'd really like 4-shot banana hammocks.
Okay. I'm sure we could do that. I don't see why we couldn't. As long as you wear one on the show to promote it.
Done.
That wasn't that hard. I knew that wouldn't be that hard. I don't know why I wasn't expecting anything else. But yeah, we really appreciate it with your guys' support. We keep doing this every Tuesday. I think this is our 18th or so episode. Additionally, this show, we've actually changed the idea of the show a little bit. We used to say it was a show about nothing that nobody really watched, but now people are actually watching it. So we had to kind of like get a grasp on what the hell we were doing here. So we've decided it's a lifestyle show, right? It's about the lifestyle of things.
Yeah.
So we have cigar manufacturers, cigar media. We have had beer makers on. I believe we have a leather goods guy coming on, and I hope he makes some of those leather goods, if you know what I mean.
Chaps.
Yes, chaps. But without further ado, Jeremy, I was wondering if you would want to introduce our fine guests for the evening. Oh, but the last rule that I forgot to say that Brandon makes sure that I say is that when we give away the coffee, you have to be on the show, and we will direct message you at that point for your address to send coffee to, and so that I can come visit.
Otherwise, we'll grind it up and drink it all on the show, and
all at once.
All at once.
Yeah.
All at once. And yes, and please share this with your friends. I'll reiterate that. While we're live, share it on YouTube, Facebook Live. That's how you get more. A coffee enema. That's what we're going to do. I shouldn't say that's what we're going to do if someone's not on, because then no one's going to show up on purpose to watch us do coffee enemas. And I don't think that would be pleasurable. So, but please share this. We're continually growing, and we're super stoked kind of like see this actually turn into whatever this is turning into. And we appreciate you being along for the ride. With that, this week, last week, we had DJ Ryan Vandal. Awesome episode. Just dove into kind of the music and the beats and all that. And tonight, we're kind of turning our heads back to the cigar geek realm, which like I just use as a term of people who are passionate about tobacco, not as an insult. I fall under that camp. So we're bringing on Developing Palates. You've got Aaron Loomis and we've got John. We may have another one or two from their site join us as the show goes, but we will see how this unravels. So please welcome Developing Palates.
Welcome, boys.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
You guys ready to do a shot or what?
Absolutely.
Yep. Now, is this the point where I mentioned that I actually have a no shots policy, and I wasn't aware? No, I'm just messing with you.
Yes, it is where you would make it, and we'd be like, "That's a bummer for you." No, we've had a couple guys on that don't drink or don't want to drink, and it's fine. Tony and I will drink for them. So it don't feel the peer pressure, but you should do it with us to be cool.
That's right.
Cheers, boys, if you guys are ready.
Ready?
Shot number 2.
Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Now it's like we had already welcomed you, but like after you have the shot, now it's like
now we're really on the show.
Yeah, you like you were only half on the show, but it's like lining up at the bar and then you do the shot and you're like, let's go dance.
There you go.
You know, it's like that. The party has begun.
Yeah, it's like just the tip and then the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's a dangerous game to play. It's always a dangerous game to play.
It is a dangerous game to play.
I mean, you win, but you also lose.
So we usually at this point do a segment that we call Fresh Shit. But this week, and as noted by my sweater and my lovely house slippers, this is our Thanksgiving episode. So we are switching up Fresh Shit for Thanksgiving fails. So I have to explain that before we do this. So I moved, oddly enough, and I know you guys wouldn't assume that I would live in the middle of the woods, but I do. I bought a house like way off the grid in the middle of the woods, and I have 8 acres of woods behind me, and I have these turkeys that come visit me like every day at like 5 o'clock. There's like 9 of them, but they're the dumbest turkeys I've ever seen in my entire life. And I don't know if it's the water or something out here. I have no idea, but they were literally, that's a video from my cell phone of my turkeys running around in circles for no reason. And they did it like 8 times. We just didn't have enough. I just didn't want to show the same thing 8 times, but they like would walk a little bit and then they run around in circles and chase each other and keep going. That's my morning coffee entertainment.
Perfect.
So we'll start with Jeremy. Jeremy, do you have any crazy stories about Thanksgiving where something fucked up happened, you got too drunk, you deep fried a turkey and exploded, anything like that going on with you? Funniest Thanksgiving story.
So my band was playing a band I was in. This was many years back. And
Meat Puppets?
Yes. That's actually I really like the Meat Puppets.
There you go.
Right. But so we had played, and then typically after you spend the evening together drinking, hanging out, you have friends there. We had a great time. And so this is the night before, and so we stay out way after. I mean, I don't know. It's 5, 6, whatever in the morning, 7 in the morning, and then I realize I'm supposed to be at my parents'. Like at the time, when I finally do like crash for like an hour, I'm supposed to be there, and so I get driven over there because I am in no condition to be behind a wheel. And there is a church function that I forgot that we were going to be going to with them. And so I get carted with them over to the church. You know, it's like you show up and your parents are like, we're going to church.
And you're hammered. And your parents are...
100%.
Your parents are like from Alabama. Like they're pretty conservative people.
Very, very, very. So I'm trying to like hold it like together, but like the music is making my ears like everything bad, and I completely stink because I haven't showered, so I've had a full entire night of drinking up to this point.
My grandpa used to say you're sweating like a whore in church. That's what my grandfather used to say.
Yes. So I guess I had some of that whore smell on me or something. My best friend's mom came up to me, and she hadn't seen me in years, and she gave me a hug, and as she got close, she went, oh, she's like, are you drunk, Jeremy? And I was like, yeah. Like, like there was no hangover happening yet. And that did not set the pace for the rest of the day to go very well with my family, because I essentially found a corner after that and just kind of sat, slept, did whatever the rest of the day. So Yeah, it went down in the books like one. So it was the night before, following into it, that created a lot of love in my family. They were really proud of me.
Well, what's
really
funny
proud.
is what's funny about that whole situation is the governor of Pennsylvania, literally put a moratorium on everything past 5 on Thanksgiving Eve. Because I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, but the world. Why would I say that? The rest of the U.S. Because John, you have Thanksgiving in Canada, right, John?
It's true. We have many celebratory holidays that happen to be American adjacent, including Thanksgiving. Although, of course, we've spaced it out in a sensible manner, because while Thanksgiving might make sense right now in the United States, in Canada, of course, there's snow everywhere, and nobody wants to go, kill the turkey and get drunk and fall asleep in the snowbank.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a
because
lot
you
of
guys are
work.
so nice.
It's a lot of work. So we do it in October.
Oh, perfect.
Mhm.
Perfect. So where was I going with this whole thing? I don't know. I don't remember.
Shut down at 5
Oh,
o'clock.
so yeah, because it's one of the biggest drinking holidays of the year, the night before
Mhm.
Thanksgiving, because everybody's back in town and everybody's doing whatever. So he shut it completely down. Aaron,
Yes.
do you have any crazy Thanksgiving stories?
I'm gonna take you back to when I was 8, so it's gonna be crazy for an 8-year-old, but I still think it's a bit fun, and I hope I don't offend anybody with this story. But I live in Northern California.
You're on 4 shots. You're not
Yeah.
going to offend anybody.
All right. I don't know. Sometimes
The bar is
where I'm
really,
gonna go might be a
really
little
low.
off limits, but no. I live in Northern California, and right before Thanksgiving, my family took a trip down to Southern California for Disneyland, SeaWorld, all that kind of a thing. And we had some friends that had moved down to San Diego, so we stayed with them for the Thanksgiving holiday. So we did the whole normal Thanksgiving thing there, and then like the day after Thanksgiving, we started to drive back up to Northern California, and our host had packed us some like sandwiches and stuff for the trip home, right? So we're on our trip back up, and my mom breaks out the sandwiches. They're turkey sandwiches, leftovers from Thanksgiving. So I get into the sandwich, and I'm like, this is absolutely disgusting. Like, what is this? And my mom takes a taste of the sandwich, and then she explains to me, and this was my first introduction to Miracle Whip.
Okay.
And I don't know. So I guess some people like it, but I came from a mayonnaise family. So Miracle Whip is completely not mayonnaise.
No.
And I was just completely, as an 8-year-old, my world was kind of shaken a bit. So that was a little bit, for an 8-year-old, a little bit kind of life-changing experience.
So how are you with the whipped dairy beverages / that's like a non-Newtonian fluid almost.
Yeah, I don't even know what it is. Since that day, I have never tasted that flavor again.
I can eat it out of the canister.
Holy
like
Cold.
Like
Miracle
I
Whip?
Yeah.
You're disgusting, you
Yeah.
commie.
Listen. Okay. So there's no reason to have pumpkin pie. Like pumpkin pie is the stupidest thing ever, right? So because pumpkin doesn't taste like anything. It's all
Pumpkin tastes like pumpkin.
No, it tastes like nothing. It's like you eat a cucumber. What does a cucumber taste like?
A cucumber.
No,
have
it tastes like
have you
water.
never had raw pumpkin before? Have you never gone to town on?
Never have I ever taken a pumpkin and just like an apple?
Well, I mean, you
gone to the
probably don't
face
want
with
to
it?
take the outside of the gourd. That's probably not pleasant. But yeah, like the inside. Like you're getting your Halloween pumpkin, and you're like, maybe I'll just do a spoonful.
Pumpkin seeds roasted.
Pumpkin speed. There you go. Jeremy's dropping it.
Come on,
John, you're a savage.
I am a savage. That
You
is
are
100% true.
You are.
Anyways, I apologize for interrupting your story. Please continue on your smearing the good name of pumpkin pie.
Well, it doesn't taste like anything. It's like that's exactly why it's basic, right? The pumpkin spice latte. It doesn't taste like pumpkin. It tastes like the spices.
Right.
Stark, what are you talking about? It doesn't necessarily taste like pumpkin. It just tastes like the spices that are in pumpkin pie.
Let's see where you're going with this.
really? Because if I just ate those spices, I wouldn't say this is pumpkin pie.
How do you know? Have you ever combined those spices into something else, like a latte?
That's disgusting. You don't
see what I'm saying? But if you
don't
smother it in
drink-
Miracle Whip,
I'm gonna.
Did you smother pumpkin pie in Miracle Whip?
Are we talking about
Renee
Cool Whip or
knows
Miracle
what's
Whip?
up.
Yeah, this is
I'm confused.
Yes.
I think the sweater's confusing me.
this is a
I
great.
could eat
This
Cool
is,
Whip out of the
we're
container.
only
yeah.
one
Cool
shot
Whip.
in, and we're already
Cool Whip.
right off the rails.
Whip.
Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.
I'm on Cool Whip.
Yeah.
Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.
Miracle
I like
Whip.
that.
That's why
Yeah, if you're-
Jeremy called you a commie.
Yeah, if you
Yes.
put Miracle Whip on your pumpkin pie, there's something seriously wrong with you.
Man, I am.
And I
very
like it.
confused.
I don't know why anybody would put Cool Whip on a turkey sandwich, but I'm gonna try it now.
I mean, I'm down with that.
I would put Cool Whip on a turkey sandwich.
Why
I'll
not?
put Cool Whip
No.
on anything. In fact, I have.
Ew.
This show's going to shit already. Let's do a shot and think about it.
Shot number 3.
Of course, it's the one without me in a shirt. Okay, so Miracle Whip and Cool Whip aside, John, Thanksgiving story.
So this is more Thanksgiving adjacent. So because my family, Canada is a large place, as you well know. Jeremy experienced that firsthand, being on one opposite side of the country, which is an epic. And I love when you're telling the story, you continued the debacle by still calling it the wrong city in the wrong province, which is
Right.
fantastic. So, but we get together for camping because it's tough to get together in October. I mean, oftentimes there's snow and it's tough to travel and et cetera, et cetera. So we get together just before the snow falls and we, get a rager on as one does when we're camping. And my family being Scottish ancestry, we drink. We definitely hold our own. So, we're probably a good 6 hours into this. And, I really feel like making myself a Caesar, which is like a Bloody Mary, but more civilized. So, my uncle says, well, if you want a Caesar, go make yourself a Caesar. I'm not your butler. So my cousin says, can you make me a Caesar too? And I'm like, yeah, that's, it's pretty basic stuff. You just put vodka in a glass and put the fixins in and mix in the Clamato and you're set. So I'm in there assembling my Caesar, and of course the key to a good Caesar, like a Bloody Mary, is you gotta put the rimmer salt, right? It's all about the salt. If you don't put the salt in the cup, you really haven't made the thing. So I grabbed their Caesar salt and I do it all upright, put the lime on the big production. So I come out to the campfire and I am like quite lit up at this point. And I take a big gulp and I'm like, this is it's really garlicky. It's weirdly garlicky. That's weird. And my cousin takes a sip and he's like, what did you rim this with? And I said, well, this Caesar salt. And my aunt and my uncle start laughing and they said, where did you get that from? I said, well, I got it from the cupboard and it says Caesar salt. And they said, is there like a little piece of tape on the lid or whatever? I'm like, I don't know. I'm drunk. And they're like, well, no, because it's a camper. And so we repurpose all of the containers and we repurpose the Caesar mix with the garlic powder. So you've got a garlic powder Caesar, and I don't know if you guys have ever actually had like basically what amounts to a quarter teaspoon of garlic powder in your mouth. That is not a flavor that any amount of booze is going to remove for the rest of the night. So no matter what I was drinking for the rest of the night, whether it was Caesar or scotch or beer, it was garlic scotch, it was garlic beer, and that continued well into the next morning, which I will never live down.
Dude, I'm Italian. Everything always tastes like garlic to me. So I'm good with that.
Fair enough.
But I want to know, what exactly is a Caesar? Like, what is the difference between a Caesar and a Bloody Mary?
So they're almost identical, really. The difference is that instead of using tomato juice, I mean, there is tomato juice, but it's Clamato juice.
Oh,
Yeah.
the clam and tomato.
So
It's the clam and tomato.
in Southern
That is more
California,
civilized.
in Southern California, it's very typical to use Clamato, but they still call it a Bloody Mary. And I prefer
Weird.
it with the Clamato.
Well, California's
Much more.
fucked up. That's why.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I 100% agree. It's way better than just using tomato juice. Like, you get, like, it's good.
Yeah, you obviously have to be able to get your mind past it. I don't think the clam, like when people think of clam juice, I mean, they're thinking, this really heavy clam flavor, but it's not a heavy flavor. It just gives this, I don't even know how to describe it. Tomato juice has this astringent character, and Clamato gives it this umami flavor that you don't, and I think it's fantastic. And I mean, the rest of Canada does too, because, we drink like 600 million liters, like, what is that, 1.2 million gallons of it a year, something like that.
And you guys drink this at night?
Drink it. Actually, it is the miracle cure for a hangover. If you're out on the golf course and you are like had a rough night the night before, a Caesar first thing in the morning, double Caesar, that'll put you right as rain.
See, in Arizona, I think they put they put the beer in with the vodka and the Clamato.
Mm-hmm.
What do they call that? A chelada?
Mm-mm.
I think.
Michelada or Chelada, either one. Similar.
Michelada.
We call it something
Michelada,
different.
but then you do the rim with the seasoning.
Gotta have
Zach's down
seasoning
there
salt.
somewhere. We'll ask him later.
It's just to get your electrolytes back up. Yeah.
It's a good.
So, moving along. My craziest Thanksgiving story isn't really that crazy. The power went out at my parents one day, and I have never cooked a Thanksgiving turkey in my life. So the power goes out, which means the stove and everything else goes, like my mom can't cook anymore. So I have to bring all the Thanksgiving food loaded up into my truck to my condo, which has a very limited kitchen, and prepare the Thanksgiving dinner and bring it back. And then when I got back there, everybody was already really hammered and they wanted to play this game called Spoons. And Spoons is basically like spades, where you pass cards around, and when you get like a 3 or 4, I think it's a 3 of a kind, like a 3 threes or like a 2, 3, 4, you put your cards down and you pick up a spoon, but there's one less spoon than there are people.
So it's like musical chairs.
It's just adult musical chairs with alcohol. So if you miss a spoon, you get a letter. So it's kind of like musical chairs combined with horse from basketball.
Yeah.
So you miss a spoon, you get a letter. So my parents have had this kitchen table since the 70s. I think they got married and they bought this kitchen table. Well, this game of spoons got violent really quick, because if somebody misses a spoon, you're going to go after the spoon. So I broke like 3 of my parents' like 50-year-old like dining room furniture, like heirloom chairs, after I unsuccessfully cooked Thanksgiving dinner. So that's kind of my story there.
Nice.
And do they bring it up every Thanksgiving? Like they find a way to kind of work it in?
My mom's like, because it's ironic that I wasn't in the chair that got broken, but that's the one I sit in on Sunday dinner. So like when I sit in it and like the thing, because it's not broken like totaled, it's broken and like some of the like little things are kind of cracked. So sometimes I'll sit in it and it'll break, and then my mom will be like, "Oh yeah, remember when you decided to throw your niece out of the chair to obtain the spoon?"
I love it.
So with that, let's talk turkey. Let's talk turkey.
There you go.
And in the meantime, I think we should do a shot. What do you guys think?
Sounds good.
Shot number 4.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, guys. I was having a conversation with someone this week, and they were like, "So why do you call it 4 shots?" And I was like, "Well, we needed a name." And they're like, "But you never only do 4 shots." And I'm like, "Well, we can't change the name of the episode every week. Like, just go with it. We do a minimum. So maybe we should change it to minimum 4 shots with Tony and Jeremy."
Somewhere between 4 and 15 is what it should be.
Yeah.
So, boys, we were talking earlier about your unique concept for developing palates. And I know you guys have both come from not only different parts in the cigar business, but you guys have also kind of come from day jobs, and you may still have them and you may not. But I guess the first question we have for you is, what do you do besides reviewing cigars? And then on top of that, we'll, for the purpose of time, ask you what you did before and as your day job. So whoever wants to start answer.
I'll go first.
Okay.
So yeah, definitely still a day job. I work in the wine and spirits industry. I do IT for a company that makes corks, bar tops, champagne corks, foils, wire hoods, barrels, oak alternatives, all those things. I'm up near the Napa area, so that's kind of my day job. I'm just the IT guy for that type of a company.
Well,
so I think
cork is very expensive right now, right? Because I'm a wine guy.
Right.
What?
So cork is pretty expensive now, right?
Yes.
It's like $1 per cork per bottle, right?
It can be, depending on quality, of course.
Is that a lot? That doesn't seem like a lot to me.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, look, you have bottles of wine that are $4 that have cork.
That's
in
a fair
them. So,
point.
you know,
That's a fair point.
Yeah, it can be that way.
Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No, absolutely. So yeah, that's kind of that's what my background. And I think it lends itself a little bit to kind of doing the technical side of the website and the YouTube stuff and all the streaming and things like that. So it's kind of the background in that. And then prior to developing Palates, I had co-founded another cigar media website, and that ran for a few years. And I departed ways from that situation and wanted to do something different. So that's how developing Palates kind of came about.
Well, you guys are all I'm just curious to how all of you guys kind of got together, because you all had kind of different things going on.
We're like cigar media mercenaries that kind of joined forces. I think that'd be a good way to put it.
And by
accused of a crime we didn't commit,
and you don't get paid like mercenaries do.
That's correct.
Not even remotely. But if you're in the Los Angeles area and you have a problem that needs to be solved, we can solve it.
Or you can call me. I'm in. Mm-hmm. Let's do this shit.
John, what about you?
I also have a day job, as much as I would not like to have a day job. Brandon asked, am I a real surgeon? I only perform cigar surgery. You do not want to see me perform surgery on a human being. I would not be. I mean, I don't know if I'd be good at it, but since I have no skill at it, I would assume not. But I do have a day job. It's in oil and gas, which tracks because I'm in Alberta, which is often referred to as the Texas of Canada. So in many ways, it is very similar to Texas. And like Texas, oil and gas is the predominant employment in the province. But I'm in a bit of an odd area in oil and gas. I'm in business analytics, data analytics. So a lot of what I do is taking dissimilar pieces of data, trying to merge them together to get insights. So, whether that's information from somebody producing an oil well, or in some cases, I got asked a little while ago to take earthquake data and try and relate it to somebody actually stimulating a well and see if there was any correlation, which I'd never looked at earthquake data before. And I was like, I don't know, but, data is data. So like Aaron, I come from a long history of, both sales, but also a lot of technical IT, data analytics stuff. And then go ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I was going to say, prior to being a mercenary with Developing Palates, I was also with another media site, and coincidentally, it's funny because Tony was my first guest on also an alcohol-related show that I started many years ago called Sharing Our Pairings, and Tony, I believe, was my first real guest on the show. And we did,
Really?
and we did cigar and wine pairing. And I was like huddled under an umbrella because it decided to rain that day for no reason.
I remember that.
And I was like, I got the wine glass, I'm holding the umbrella, I'm like smoking like this. And it's just a real shit show. But, you were there. And so that made it a lot more interesting to listen to because we talked a lot about wine. But I was with Cigar Federation for, God, I don't know, like 6.5 years, something like that. Long time.
Yeah,
So,
it's been. I mean, when did we do that interview? It was like one of the first years that I had La Barba. It was like 2013 or 14 or something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
So it's kind of funny that there, in some ways, is this like parallel, like you have like with like Down and Back, right? We're all over the country. We're not like yes, we're Miami based, but like you got Ohio, you got Southern California. Like most companies have everyone kind of in a central location or near that location. So like we kind of came together in an odd fashion. So I mean, like, what led you guys to? It's a two-parter. To follow up what Tony was asked, like about how you guys kind of formed, but even more so, like, why? Why did you guys why did you just you were already involved doing your thing with Cigar Fed, and I know you guys all had involvement with different forms of media. Why Developing Palates?
Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean, for me,
go ahead, John.
I was just going to say, for me, really, it was a transitionary period where the Cigar Federation had changed ownership, and it felt like the right time to sort of pass the baton on to Trippy Trent, because he was kind of taking over, and I kind of wanted to do the, old guard and new guard and let him do his thing and kind of not get in the way. And, Aaron had approached me sometime before that to say, really be interesting to have you on Developing Palates and provide a fourth panel member to kind of round things out. And so it was a really good fit. I get along really well with everybody else on the panel. I mean, like we were talking about, a lot of us go back 6, 7, 8 years where we're all kind of, it's a pretty incestuous industry. We've known each other for a really long time. So, it seemed pretty natural.
Yeah, and June, who I started the website up with, he lives in Northern California, about 20 minutes from me. So he and I worked on the previous site together, and
that was a good comment, by the way.
Great comment.
Pull that comment up. We would like to read it. That is a really good. DP is the super band of musicians from other bands. They're the audio slave of Cigar Review website.
That is
very
fantastic.
well said, my friend.
So June and I were together on another site, and we had talked about some different ideas about things going on. And then when I broke away from that website, we decided we wanted to do something a bit different. And so we said, we're going to start up our own thing. We'll get going. So we started that up in beginning of 2016. It was just he and I kind of doing side-by-side reviews type of thing, same cigar, all that stuff. And then Seth, who joined us next, he had Seth's Humidor before, and he had that for a long time. He was doing a great job of single cigar reviews and all that stuff. And at one point, he kind of wound down on that. He ended up joining Cigar Federation as well. He was there, I don't know, maybe a year. I don't know, John might be able to give more info on that, but I think it was just a point where Cigar Fed was kind of on its kind of way out, and he had reached out to us and asked if we had some space for him over at Developing Palates, and with somebody when he had been doing it for longer than June and I had both been doing it, and when you have an opportunity like that, I think you kind of just jump on it. So he joined us, and we kind of had a 3-man team at that point. and kind of building things up. And as John had talked, the cigar media group is a pretty friendly group. Everybody kind of talks. I'm sure it's the same on the cigar brand side, where everybody's talking. There's relationships and things like that. Things happen behind the scenes. I want to say that I probably was tapping John on the shoulder for maybe a year and a half to try to convince him that
listen, you son of a
we
bitch,
had
I've
something
invited you
going
twice.
on over here, and we wanted him to kind of join us. So he did join when he was ready. And like I said, I think we kind of built this group of mercenaries that I love working with these guys because they have great palates. There's no bullshit going on. Like, everybody's honest with each other and things like that, and we can give each other shit, and we do that on a regular basis on our reviews and things like that. And we all had the same idea that we were kind of not liking the way that the kind of cigar review process had been kind of, I don't know, bloating itself and in regards to scores and all that kind of stuff. We wanted to do something different. So that's kind of how this team kind of came together, and I think it's working out well now.
So it's actually a great segue to the next question I have for you guys. It's like, so it's another two-parter. And the first part of it is, why did you guys decide to come together to do the ratings? And then also, when it comes to like Cigar of the Year or the things that you guys do with the end of the year cigar stuff, have there been like major disputes? Because generally I see you guys
give us the dirt.
But I mean, generally I see that you guys like all have very similar palates, and generally I would say like 98% of the time agree with each of your palates. So how did that experience for you guys, like how was it to kind of sit down and say, okay, we're going to do this together? And then has there ever been any like kind of like, this cigar was great and this cigar sucked, how are we going to figure it out kind of moments?
I'm gonna hop in there.
Go for it.
So I believe it or not, Tony, and we get that comment a lot on the YouTubes. I would say we disagree far more than we agree. In fact, so much so that typically, if we're within a quarter point of each other, it's a massive surprise. And in fact, it's quite revolutionary when we all kind of come together, whether it's good, bad, or mediocre on a cigar, because more often than not, you'll either have one guy low, one guy high, or what we've fallen into, I'd say in the last 16 months, is you'll have two guys higher, two guys lower, and then the shit talk just immediately starts about, well, I mean, I understand you probably didn't rate this cigar very well because you have the palate of a yak, and you can't taste good tobacco when it's put in front of you. Or,
that person must also be eating Miracle Whip.
That's right. They have Miracle
Or
Whip on
Ready
their
Whip.
pumpkin pie.
Cool Whip.
Cool Whip.
I mean, if it ends with whip, I don't get it.
This got
understand.
whip in the title and you got too excited.
What about Saturday night?
What about Saturday night?
The whip.
What?
Sorry.
Definitely whip confusing.
What?
What? What are you accusing me of? So no, I think more often than not, every review I think is more entertaining for the banter back and forth between who's medium, low, or high. Aaron ironically gets the most shit, I think, of anybody, because Aaron is, quote unquote, everyone says, well, Aaron hates cigars, and that's not true. Aaron just is very difficult to impress. And so there's been a few times where Aaron comes in the high score and it's like, whoa, okay, I need to reevaluate my life position here, when Aaron came in on a higher score than I did. Anyways, Aaron, please, I've taken a lot of the mic. You carry on.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of the reason we wanted to start this site is we wanted to create a site that we thought would be actually helpful to people looking to find out about cigars and what they think they might like or not like. I think for a long time, and it still happens quite a bit, I think the majority of review websites are like this. It's pretty much just giving hand jobs out to your favorite brands or your favorite, people in the industry, rather than actually like kind of giving your opinion on what you think about cigars. So a lot of high scores, a lot of bloated scores, and I think that Tony might be able to share the same info in the wine side, where scores have kind of inflated over the years and things like that, and there's kind of been lost in a kind of a baseline of where things were at. But we wanted to do a completely different scoring system. We thought people were kind of, building up that 100-point system and sticking into like a 5 to 7 point range. They weren't going kind of outside of that, 88 to 94 range. And it was really no reason to have a 100-point system if you're just going to use, 5 or 6 numbers out of that thing. So we just wanted to put a site together that we thought, we could share our real opinions on things, and not that we're trying to kind of be the end-all judge and say this is a good cigar, this is not a good cigar. We're just sharing our opinion, and you can use that. And there's 4 of us, so you have 4 different opinions. And if you find somebody's palate that you kind of match up with, you have an idea. But really, we just want to share our experiences, and if that helps you find a cigar that you like or find a cigar that you should avoid, then we're all for that. But it's not to, we're not saying that we are the definitive palates and things like that. There's nothing about that we're doing. We just want to share our opinions. And because whenever I'm looking for information on something, I'm always looking for like a source that I can trust that can actually give me good insight into something, rather than somebody that's getting free product for a good review, and you get the product and you're like, well, this is trash. How did it get all these good reviews? So
but hey, you cashed your check, right, from La Barba?
We did.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Just want to make sure, because the end of the year's coming up. I just moving on.
It actually probably
100% cash.
I hope
right
it did.
there.
I hope it didn't bounce. I hope
Hey,
the check
just
didn't
one.
bounce. So.
I just wanted to jump in here. Ever since our friend John made the staggering claim that Canadians consume 17 million gallons or something of the Clamato substance, I have been hunting and trying to fact check this motherfucker, a Canadian dude coming with his Caesar drinks and his killing the turkeys
Bringing it
live.
hot.
There's been all these things. And I could find very little detailed information about how much fucking Clamato juice Canadians actually consume. What I could find is that it is a hotly contested subject whether or not Mexico or Canada consumes more Clamato juice. And this is important information. We want to be factually accurate on 4 shots. So what I did find is this article from 2016 or 2017, I'm sorry, that says that I have it here highlighted. Canadians drank a staggering 33 million Mott's Caesars every month in 2016, or well over 1 million Caesars every day. Now, that doesn't break down into like how many ounces or gallons or whatever, because I could not find that information.
Aggressive.
It is very aggressive.
Well done, Canada.
Well, that's some quality
done,
research
Canada.
right there. That's well done.
So here's a question I have to kind of spin off on that.
Let's do a shot.
What we've been talking about. Let's do a shot, and then I'll ask away.
Shot number 5.
Before we do this,
was that Nicaragua?
that was Dominican Republic when
nice.
I had somebody get deported. It was bad.
Well done.
Before we
Cheers
do
to
this,
them. Oh.
please, guys, follow Developing Palates. Check out their Instagram, their Facebook, and their website. They have a lot of good information. And if you haven't been listening yet, they have excellent reviews, and they have very, very good palates. That's why they do what they do. And if you can, I'm sorry, I'm delaying this. If you can, share our stream, follow us. We'll be on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Check it out tomorrow. Cheers, boys.
Cheers.
Yeah. In regards to that bumper, I think Brandon said it best. You should have left him in the DR.
Yeah, there's a lot of inside stuff into that thing, but we have to.
Yeah.
I should have. I shouldn't have bribed the guards with fried chicken and orange Fanta.
Yeah.
Well played.
So
It
here's my
worked very
question.
well, though. I mean,
One of the things I like about your platform, because I tend to have like a bias as being a I'm 20 years now in the industry, but I've developed kind of a callous like viewpoint on people saying this cigar is good and this cigar is not good, based on the fact that everything is subjective, right? We can all agree on that. One of the things I do like about what you do is that you have that kind of side-by-side thing, so you can see if you can identify, which you kind of said, Aaron, like if I go, you know what, a lot of the cigars I like tend to fall in line with what Aaron likes or what John likes, you can kind of use that as a reference point. So I dig that element. My question is, do you ever, like, to me, I thought about years ago when I was working in retail in the cigar realm, I was going to start a site, and I was like, I'm going to do a completely unbiased site, and if the cigar is shit, I'm going to say it's shit. Yeah. And we all know that doesn't like work so well if you want clicks or people to come or sponsorship or all that kind of stuff. Do you guys have a threshold in which if it falls below, it does not get aired?
No thresholds. It's all, if we're reviewing it, it gets published, good or bad.
So give me an example of when you have shit on a cigar that it just was not right. Was there any kind of I'll say entertainment, because it's entertainment to me on the back end with, say, a manufacturer, or because I mean, like, I know that, like, you know, Cigar Aficionado at, you know, things, they've given low scores, and manufacturer A has said, we're not giving you money anymore, motherfuckers.
Right. Yeah.
I get that. Have you, like, has there been any kind of encounters that you guys have had where you rated something low and there was backlash?
Not really. I know some other guys on the media side have said that, you know, people have reached out to them about poor reviews. We've gotten some comments, you know, here and there, but they've been kind of just in passing. It hasn't been like a contentious discussion about something that we've done. We use a different scoring system, so that might confuse some people. So they may not know that they're getting a poor of a review, or that, you know, that they think it is. But we've had times where people have reached out and they've asked us, you know, we'd like you to try this again, give it another shot, kind of a thing. But
that's when you say, no, you fucking commie. Yeah. We already did it.
That's right.
Did you improve the blend?
Not Cool Whip.
Then no.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't, you know, I guess one of the nice things about not doing this as our livelihood is that we're not reliant on sponsors for keeping the site afloat. It's something that we do. We do have sponsors. It really just kind of covers some of our costs and things like that. But we started the site without any sponsorship. So we went into it with costs and all that stuff like that. And we kind of just said, we're going to do this. We want to keep it going. So we don't have to answer to anyone in regards to if we get a sponsor cigar, that it has to be a good score. You can look at the sponsors on the site. You can look at the scores associated with their reviews, and I don't think that you would be able to see any sort of bias towards higher scores for sponsors. There's if we did that, we would have failed, and I would shut down the website if we kind of went down that path. So.
Yeah, Tony and I are not allowed to talk negative towards Mothers Against Drunk Drivers because they sponsor us.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. I would just add to that and say that, you know, I think there's a difference, because there's an aspect to YouTube of entertainment, right? Like, YouTube is an entertainment platform and there's some really entertaining people on there, and we try to be entertaining, but when we critique a cigar, you know, and we've certainly had this conversation many times in Vegas with brand owners, that it's a critique of the cigar, it's a critique of the blend, it's not necessarily a critique of you as a person. So, you know, I realize that it's an industry full of very passionate people, and obviously, I'd say more so than any other industry I've been ever associated with, if you give a bad review, a lot of people take that take that personally. You know, they do take that on, and I've had those conversations, and I said, look, it's not a critique of you as a person. I am telling you that I think you can do better, but I'm not saying you're a piece of shit as a person. I'm just saying that your cigar was extremely disappointing, and in addition to that, I don't know how you smoked that and thought that was good to release. You know,
They probably had a
I
Miracle
think
Whip before they smoked it.
That's right.
probably.
We're just gonna bring it back, because you know what? If I might make a quick little parallel to that, because I write songs, right, and I play music. So I'll write a song and I'll be super jazzed on it, and then I play it for the band for us to incorporate it into our set, and then
Right.
they're like, we don't dig it. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean you don't dig it? And because I've invested so much time in it, but sometimes it's taken years for me to realize I have to let go of that kind of stuff, because sometimes you're just not on,
Right.
and you can be a good chef, you can be a good blender, you can be a good musician. It doesn't mean everything is going to rock, and that's just the reality of anything we really do, right? I mean, we're not going to hit a home run every single time. There's not a single cigar manufacturer, wine company, distillery, artist, musician that just home runs it every single time. And then and that's part of the aspect of cigars that I love. I love trying cigars and being disappointed, because I have such especially when it's from someone that I really respect as a blender, when they don't hit that par, I'm fine with it. It doesn't make me go, oh, they don't know what they're doing. I'm just like, what the fuck were they thinking? But then I think about myself as a writer, and I bring everything to the table with this is an A+ because I wrote it, and then other people say that's not an A+, right? And so it's you're like, oh, okay, life goes on, right? Then you work harder for the next blend, the next song, the next whatever. And I you have to. It's kind of what Brandon's saying. You got to take swings. I remember when the Ricochet. The first Ricochet was hitting the market, and Tony and I had a conversation, and there was some uncertainty about the blend with Tony, and he was because it's not typically he's like, I feel like this is a little out of my wheelhouse. I feel like this might be a little too strong. And I was like, bro, it's awesome, and it fits amazingly in our portfolio. Now, given it's only my perspective, but I was like, you need this in your portfolio. And what's funny is that cigar is done, not funny, it's because it is a damn good cigar. It just, sometimes we need that, you got to take the swings. If it works, rad. If it only gets you to first base, at least you got you somewhere. It's never going to make you go backwards, I mean, unless you put out a short filler of homogenized wrapper filled with I mean, it's all part of the game. And whenever I smoke a cigar, I always try to think about, what did this blender want to say to me when he made this? Right. So I don't even smoke it for is it good or bad? I try to smoke it with thinking what did he want to communicate to me? Mm-hmm. And sometimes I'm like, I don't know what the fuck. He must have been high or sick or something when he made it. And that's okay. That's the best part about it is it's trial and error, and you see cigar companies that have been out for years, and then they finally hit a home run, and then it just explodes their company. Yep. Or sometimes they've been on boom, boom, boom. I don't fucking mind saying it. Padron, right? They've been the king. They've been for years and years and years. I revered them, love their cigars, and then they came out with their Connecticut, and I was like, what the fuck happened? Yes. You're Padron. You are the king. But it's okay. It doesn't make me love them any less for what they do.
That's the greatest
just
comment ever, by the way. Sorry to interrupt you. But
right.
That's why I bought this.
Throwback.
That is amazing, Will, and you're right. But I mean, it doesn't lessen Padron to me. That's why I can say it publicly, because I'm not shitting on them. I'm saying that's not what you do, guys. What you do is this, and you do it perfectly. So keep doing that, and it's all relative anyways. It's only my opinion, which doesn't matter at the end of the day.
And at the end of the day, there is a segment of people that are going to enjoy that cigar. And our job as the four of us times 30 in this industry is to make cigars that some people enjoy and some people might not enjoy. So it all depends, again, to bring it back on our palates, right? So me as a guy that makes cigars, I have to like consider everybody's palates. And
but you don't have to.
Yeah, isn't that
to.
isn't that the trap though? When you get caught in that rabbit hole of trying to please everybody and you can't.
Right. It's like me trying to write a pop song. Can you imagine it? It just doesn't work.
Right, but it would work. And my point is that the goal at the end of all of it is to create cigars that everybody likes for their own palates. Right? It's not my job to make a cigar that I like. All the cigars I make, I like, but it's not my job to specifically make only cigars that I like. It's my job to make great cigars for people that like those great cigars. And that kind of leads me in a direction where I could ask you guys.
Do you think my cigar is great?
Do you think that Ricochet is the greatest cigar
ever made?
It scored very well on our website. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because I was digging through. I was like, I must have some perps still in my humidor, and I've smoked all of them. And so I'm like, well, I must have something from Tony because I do. You're one of the guys who I'm like, Tony's got a really good palate, and more often than not, I can pick up something from you, and at the very least, I'll find it interesting. Like maybe it won't be to my style, but it's interesting. And so I saw Ricochet in there. I'm like, oh man, I remember those being good. And I grabbed it, and just so I didn't look like a complete a-hole in the show, I had to look it up because I knew we reviewed it. And I'm like, boy, I hope we didn't trash this because I don't want to look like a real Giacomo. And no, we actually scored it quite high. In fact, I think it might have shown up on the top 25 list that year.
It did.
John, we actually tried to find if you had shit talked because it would be a really good conversation.
I would have liked
tried,
that.
and you guys actually scored the stuff like very respectably, and I was really disappointed because I was hoping there was going to be like some like not for confrontation, but because I actually think it proves the point. Because like I'm a different mindset than Tony is.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's, like there's no right way to create. That's the thing, right? So Tony creates, and he's considering because it's a business. There's money invested. There's all these things. He wants himself to like it, but he wants it to be appealing to a larger crowd. So you're going to make certain plays and little tweaks in order to make that happen. 100% understand that, and when money's on the line, it makes 100% sense. Me, because like I'm like with my band, I don't have to worry about it because we don't make anything, right? We don't make any money, so I get to be like, if you like our song, cool. If you don't, cool. My life still goes on, and different stakes actually change the game sometimes, for moves we make, and like I love the dichotomy between like, Tony and myself, because like I'll call Rob or Tony, and if I don't like a cigar, I'll say, this is a dog turd, and this is why it's a dog turd. And though I'm the national sales manager and I should be smoking it from the perspective of like, how is this going to work on a big scale? My nerd in me is like, no, I'm going to give them the true critique. But I did, and I'll give you a true statement. When we first like launched Blind Man's Bluff, I actually said it's a dog turd, but it's going to sell super well. So I'm giving you true insight, and guess what? It does a hella good business. I just don't like it. It doesn't actually make it a bad cigar. It just makes it something that I don't. But I was like, this will work. The blend works, the price point works, and stuff like that. And I had that same kind of mindset with the Ricochet, except I loved the Ricochet, but I saw it in the same way. I was like, oh, this is going to work. And I can't say that for all of Tony's cigars, nor can I say it for all of the stuff Caldwell has put out, nor can I say it for any company across the board. but that's kind of the fun of it, right? Is like you're taking swings, you're taking stabs and seeing what works, what people want. You know, you're like, how could you like that cigar that's super popular? You smoke it and you're like, I don't get it. That happens all the time with me. But I don't have a rating system or a website, thank God, because people would probably not like to listen to me even more so if I had that platform.
Yeah.
You know,
Let's do a shot.
do it. It's already poured and ready, my friend.
Shot number 6.
Wow, 6 already?
6.
Cheers.
So much for
Salute.
4 shots. Salute.
It's definitely a fun industry. You know what I mean?
Here's a question I ask a lot of cigar media guys, and I want to hear you guys' input on it. So, and this can go for cigars, wine, spirits, anything that's consumable or therefore rated. So say you have a cigar that's 100 points, right?
No.
Exactly.
I don't even know what
So-
that means.
If there's a cigar that's 100 points, and then you smoke a better cigar,
Mm-hmm.
then everything has to go down accordingly, right?
Correct.
You're correct.
So I think, like, and that's a very difficult thing to do. So,
Yes.
like, if you smoke like the best cigar you've ever smoked in your life, so say La Barba, which you probably will make the best cigar ever. I'm just
Cremate the
kidding.
soul.
But when you guys smoke a cigar and you're like, okay, so this cigar's 94, 95, 96 points or whatever, the consideration of the other cigars, does that come into play? And do you have to kind of adjust the rubric according to that? So the highest cigar you've ever rated, when you guys smoke a cigar that's better than that, should there
Yeah.
be an adjustment for everything else?
Yeah, I think you would have to do that. And I would say that's probably more applicable to some of the more established sites that have like very long histories and they use a 100-point scale. In our scale,
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I'm asking you. I'm just like your opinion on
yeah,
the 100-point scale.
Yeah, once you hit 100, you have to extend the scale. You can no longer say 100 is the ceiling, because you're saying that's the best cigar that will ever be produced in history.
Ever.
There will never be a cigar that will surpass this cigar.
There's no tobaccos you could combine that would be a better
Yeah.
combination than this.
Exactly. That's the best cigar ever. So,
Yeah, I've had that cigar 100 times. You know what I mean? Like we all have.
You have to extend at that point.
So go ahead, John.
I was just gonna say, so
Yeah,
yeah,
because
I mean, you'll
go ahead.
yeah, you'll hear that a lot in our conversation. Like Connecticut's a great example because I don't know how many Connecticut's are on the market, but there's got to be 1,000. And so we'll say, and again, we get a lot of YouTube comments, which I do appreciate. And they'll say, well, you guys just think everything's average. And it's like, well, listen, there's 1,000 Connecticut's out there. You've blended a perfectly fine Connecticut. But there's nothing about your Connecticut blend that is any different from the other 10 Connecticut's that I could randomly walk into a B&M, pick off the shelf, and smoke. It's not that it's bad. It's just that this provides the same level of satisfaction and experience as those other 9 do from other companies. And that's not necessarily to say that it's bad, because people think average, they've been programmed from the Wine Spectator system to say, if it's not 95, then it's shit. Well, that's not true. You can still have, and Tony can speak to this in volumes, you can still have an 86 wine that you love, that's very enjoyable. Because you don't always want to drink a 95-point wine, and I don't always want to smoke a 9.5 cigar.
And I bet you those 86 pointed wines, like your basic like Fry Brothers Merlot or like like Strong, like these basic ones sell 100 times over what those 96 point wines sell, just because they're regular production.
Of course.
It's more palatable, so to speak. They're making something for the broad. I mean, it's like Budweiser versus, you know, a Russian Imperial Stout, right?
Yep.
Someone might love a Russian Imperial Stout and say like, that's like, this is the best type of beer ever, right? But the reality is worldwide, the majority of people want a lager that's easy drink, that's a crushable beer.
Yep.
Like, so a Connecticut, like, oh, I want to make the strongest cigar. I'm going to be out there and it's going to be the spiciest. And or a super big ring gauge cigar, right? I'm going to go for that niche. And it's like, cool. You can reign in that niche. You can reign in this niche. But the reality is the average guy that picks up a cigar, like there are way more guys that buy on your, you know, big catalogs than actually ever step foot in the stores. And the majority of stuff they're buying is completely based on price point and almost irrelevant. Like the blend is almost irrelevant. It's I smoke cigars. You know, like my grandfather was this way. He smoked ramrods, which is a cognac dip.
Classic.
Like, and so I would bring him cigars so we could smoke together. And all he wanted was his ramrods. He would be like, stop bringing me this stuff. And I'd be like trying to enthuse, like, here's an Ashton, here's a Dunhill, here's a Davidoff, here, like something that would impress him. All he wanted was his ramrods. That's the best thing to him, you know? And like, we forget that, like, because we're like in the premium cigar realm, we're such a small like sect of people that actually smoke cigars. The majority of people are smoking more or less for the like sake of like smoking cigars. Maybe they dig Clint Eastwood. I don't know. Like, and it's just something to kind of help remember, like, you know, our perceptions, you know, though they might be passionate, like only represent our perceptions, right? And we've hit on this multiple times over on this show, is that like we don't sit there and talk wrapper, binder, and filler. We don't talk, like today's actually probably the most we've ever talked about La Barba, but it's been in jest and in fun. Like we don't talk about our companies because like, yeah, we're manufacturers, but like we smoke cigars. That's what it's about. It's not about what cigar we smoke. It's about the fact that we smoke cigars. And like what you guys do in developing palettes, like giving the panel and a reference point, it's a cool way of like just kind of giving, it's almost like the Cigars 101, you know what I mean? Which is a cool way to approach cigars, because I know for myself, as well as many other people, when they got into cigars, were overwhelmed because you walk into a store and have no idea what's good, what's not good. Is it expensive? Does that make it better? You know, and like, you know, like it's the stuff we can nerd out about on, but like the majority is not really about that.
Yeah,
Can
I mean,
I-
go ahead.
I wanted to ask a question. It's something that I wrote in the show notes, and we kind of have moved away from it, but it interests me as because I come strictly from the consumer side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, friends with Tony, friends with Jeremy, but like I'm not on the payroll of La Barba. I'm not on the payroll of Caldwell. So for me, it's like I like to, you know, smoke both of those cigars, but I have other things that I like to smoke as well. And what I thought was most interesting when I was doing research for tonight's episode, and I was looking through your guys' reviews and checking things out, is the parallel system you have. You give that number score, but then you do this crazy thing that I had never seen anybody else do. You know what I'm going to say, which is the dollar per point system. Yeah. Can you talk to us a little bit about your dollar per point like whole situation and where that came from? Like whose idea was that? And how do you like develop it? And where'd you go with that?
Yeah, so I mean, I threw that. I do a show on Thursday nights with William Cooper, and I threw that idea out as a way to kind of evaluate cigars in regards to how the score kind of breaks down to the cost of the cigar. And, I just threw it out there, and then I was like, this is a great fucking idea that I came up with. Why don't I just use it for myself? Like, I come up with a great idea every once in a while. But so the reason behind that is to say, how much does it cost for a cigar to score a point? And the cigar can score 7 points, whatever it is on our site. So you say, all right, to get a point, this, based on the cost of the cigar, it costs X number of dollars to get there. We wanted to show the way that you could say, all right, I'm going to compare this $32 Davidoff to this $8 Southern Draw. I'll just use these as examples, right? If they both scored the same and you paid $25 difference, do you want to spend $8 or do you want to spend $32 and have the same experience?
And a lot of people have expressed that they don't understand that system. And so I say to them, within that Davidoff Southern Draw math, you could smoke 3 Southern Draws for the same price as the Davidoff, well, 4. So is it 3.5 times a better experience?
Right.
Or is it a same experience and you're getting that same experience and you can now have it 3.5 times for the same price? And that isn't to say that you shouldn't spend $32 on a Davidoff. It's just there absolutely is a economic math to that, because as Jeremy knows from the retail side, we are the 0.1% of cigar smokers out there, and most cigar smokers, they ain't spending $32 on the Davidoff. They just aren't dropping that $32 down. They're looking for, that $3.75, $3.85 cigar that just went up by 5 cents, and now they got to find something that saves them a dime.
Yeah, I remember a point, many conversations, and Tony, because he's still active in the shops, can, I think, support this. But a guy would come in who's novice and say, I want the best cigar. And it's like, well, okay, let's define what that means for you. Because the thing is like they immediately go, so the store I came from was a white label store. So we had Davidoff. We had all that stuff. So sure, as a retailer, I could walk him to Davidoff, sell him the most expensive cigar. Are they good cigars?
Blanco, take it away.
They're fucking great cigars. I'm not, I am a Davidoff fan. But, it's like when you show a Padron 2000 or you show a 26 from Padron, right?
Yeah.
You're going to go for a $7 price point versus a $25 price point. Is someone who's novice, who doesn't smoke, going to notice enough of the difference to appreciate why that's $26 if he has never had the 2000, which is a great cigar?
Yeah.
And that was always my thing, is like education as a retailer, because it means so much to building future cigar smokers. Because if I just sold him the top dollar thing, if he isn't a cigar smoker, will he be able to notice the subtleties and the differences on why a Davidoff particular cigar might be worth that price point instead of an Oliva O series or, a Romeo and Juliet, a Montecristo White? Go down the list of Connecticut's, yep. Right? So, like, there was always kind of an introductory to me that I would offer to people, show them around. And now, especially like in the boutiques, you have a ton of phenomenal options within those kind of beginner cigars. And I think that that's like something that, that helps create new love to the industry versus let me sell you something, and I think that's a valuable thing that you guys do, because it almost inadvertently gives perspective to, like, not to diminish a Davidoff or an Avo or an Ashton, but what it does is give credibility to the thing that's affordable. Because when you get into anything, the first bottle of wine I bought was $2 Chuck from Trader Joe's, yeah, because I didn't know anything about wine and I didn't want to spend $40, but I wanted to know what wine tasted like. You know what I mean? Yep. So it's all like that kind of like stages. And if you get hooked, and you become a fan, then you're in. And eventually you'll try that Davidoff. And if you find it worth it, then guess what? There's plenty of dudes that only smoke white label, you know, like, and that's kind of what I love about cigars is like whenever people are like, what's your favorite cigar? And it's like, it just depends, man, what mood I'm in. Like, I don't have a cigar that's my only cigar.
At the end of the year, we do a value list along with this top 25 list, and a lot of people do value lists, and when they do value lists, they consider value as cheap. And that's not the definition of what value means. Value means is getting the most for your money, regardless of what price point. It can still be $40, but it can still provide value if it gives you a great experience. That the price does not factor into value. So when we do the value list, it's what cigars give you the best bang for your dollar. And that list is different than the top 25 cigar of the year list. Because like we talked about, you can get a great Davidoff at $32 and you can get a great cigar at $10. And if you have a similar experience with those, you have to decide, where do I want to spend my money? And it comes, in the retail space, it's all about turns, right? And if you have, depending on the customer, if that customer is a Davidoff spender and they can buy boxes at the Davidoff price, you can sell them Davidoffs. If they're going to buy boxes at the $10 price point, you can sell them a cigar at the $10 price point. But you want them to keep coming back and buying those boxes. So you need to find them the experience that's going to bring them back, at that experience that they want at the cost they can spend. And so whatever that looks like, that's where you need to be.
Is it shot time?
I think it is, man. I think that's a great point to kind of like wrap it up on, honestly. Like, I think that what do you think, Tony?
Shot time?
Yeah, no. No, but I mean, like, yeah, let's do a shot.
Power to the people.
Shot number 7.
Was that
Cheers,
Will Marxist?
Yes, it is.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, fellas, we normally have, if someone's in the waiting room and wants to get into the conversation with us, we do a shoot your shot segment where they can come on and ask you questions, but no one wants to talk to you, so I can't do anything about that. So no, not, but
we actually missed 2 segments. We missed our shoot your shot and our chicken with Zach.
Whatever. This is 4 shots with, or 6 or 7, whatever it is, 8. I don't know what it is, but yeah, we enjoyed you guys coming on, man, because Tony and I, when we kind of conceived this idea, he called me and he's like, dude, let's do a talk show as manufacturers interviewing everybody that interviewed us. That was the initial concept. Mm-hmm. And it kind of has morphed into whatever it is. But I love it because we get to talk to the guys, because it's not about Tony and I. We get to talk to the guys that normally we're the ones answering questions, and we get to kind of find out what makes you guys tick. When we spoke with Charlie from Half Wheel, hearing more the back end and things that he does differently, and what you guys do at developing pallets, it's super fun for us, we get to hang out with friends, drink, and with our Canadian and my NorCal brother, and I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. So I appreciate you guys coming on and doing this with us, and and hopefully at some point you guys will come back and we'll do another rambling session.
Absolutely. I mean, Charlie's a great guy. I mean, he, I watched the show that Charlie was on as well, and Half Wheel and what we do, I think we kind of fall into a similar area in regards to that. I think we're a little more transparent in regards to the review experience that we share. Mm-hmm. I talked about kind of the hand job process in the cigar industry. I think with Half Wheel, they're on kind of the same part. They're not afraid to give low scores, and I think that's important for what we do, so that everybody's not getting a rah-rah session about, all the cigars are great. You should buy everything because they're all great. Like that's not the case. There are cigars that are better than others, and I think people should be able to find that out and get a little bit of insight and say, hey, this brand may not be on your radar, but they make really good cigars. You should try it. They don't have the marketing budget that maybe an Altadis or a General or a Davidoff has, but they're making cigars that are on par with those guys, and you should check those out.
You know what, Aaron? I'll say this on camera because why not? But what's funny is like I like Charlie a lot, and when I asked him to come aboard, for it, I think he felt like, are you guys trying to corner me into something? Because he hasn't been so favorable to our brands,
right?
And I was like, it doesn't matter, man. We're not here for the manufacturers. We're here to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
And it took him a little bit of. He agreed to do it, and I was super stoked because it doesn't matter at the end of the day. We're just dudes that smoke cigars and do our thing, and we make product. He does a service. You guys do a service. But I understood a little bit of the apprehension, oh, do you have an angle here? And it's no, we actually don't have an angle. You're going to be good, man. We're going to smoke whatever you want to smoke. We're going to drink. We're going to ask random questions. We're going to try to get a little bit behind the scenes of what you do. So it's not the wrapper binder filler conversation. And I like that Tony and I have been able to do this show and get people, manufacturers, cigar media, guys outside of our industry, whether they be alcohol makers or lifestyle goods makers, because it's we just kind of want to talk and see what made you do what you do. And that's what I hope that any of our viewers and all of our viewers, the whole point, and I think the reason people like this, hopefully, is to see kind of you can do whatever you love, man. If you're passionate about something, don't worry about whether it's the right move or the wrong move. It's the right move if you love it, and find your audience, and not everyone's going to be a superstar, and that's totally fucking okay. And that the reality is we just get to do what we love to do. And I wouldn't change that for anything. So I appreciate you guys. Brandon, you got any closing?
Well, I just wanted to thank Developing Palates. John, Aaron, you guys have been awesome guests. You've been so open with us tonight, sharing your process and just kind of just giving us a kind of behind the scenes look at what you guys do. And we always appreciate people with candor. We appreciate people who come with the show. We're going to be ourselves. We appreciate people kind of putting their hair down, so to speak, and just being themselves when they hang out with us.
That's not happening with Aaron.
No. I have to conserve what I have,
You could do the old 80s mullet style with that, though.
Just party in the back.
Party in the back? Yeah.
Party in the back.
But John, where could people find you on social medias if they wanted to locate you personally and watch out for what you're making?
So if you're looking for me, it's the same everywhere, Cigar Surgeon, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, the internet, you can just search Cigar Surgeon. Of course, all our stuff is Developing Palates. So if you just search Developing Palates, you can find the podcast, you can find the YouTubes, you can find the website, whatever method you want to consume. I appreciate that some people like to consume videos and some people like consume audios and some people like to read. I kind of like the podcasts. I like to listen to the podcast myself. So,
Aaron, same for you. Where can people find you personally? They know where Developing Palates is, but what about you?
Yeah, I post my stuff pretty much all through the Developing Palates account. So everything I'm smoking is what you'll see on the Developing Palates Instagram, on Facebook, all of our stuff on the website. I don't do focused on the cigar side on my personal stuff on the social media accounts, but I do share some of it. But yeah, Developing Palates, pretty much everything: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. It's all there on the website.
Renee, wants to know what cigars are Tony and Jeremy smoking.
No, she wouldn't mind. Hey, Renee,
What?
we're gonna hook you up, dear. She joined us last week. We're gonna hook you up. It's the holiday season.
I've got her email address.
Renee, we're gonna take care of you. Tony and I are, all right?
All right.
We got you, boo.
So Renee, just a little story. Renee is a fan of our guest from last week, DJ Ryan Vandal. And she was our Shoot Your Shot guest and has since been just really shouting us out and been
she's
awesome.
Rad.
I know she sent us, listen, Renee, we got your freestyle audios and I'm trying to figure out a way to work them into a shot that isn't shot number 10 because that's where we're at. And like those are very rare. It's very rare that we get to shot number 10. So
I might as well finish it.
I know. Well, I want to make sure that we get Renee at an earlier. Maybe we'll replace Garrett at shot number 1. I want to do a shot with everybody. Tony, where can people find you online during the week when you're not looking like Baby Yoda and shrinking away in your seat?
I'm not shrinking away.
Hey, he lit up a cigarette. He's at that level.
Oh my
cigarette.
God.
You're about to call some girl to come
shots.
over and get some tail
Yeah,
you will regret tomorrow.
Tony
I wish.
has this. He can't control it when he gets drunk. You can tell because he gets really low in the screen. Like there's a lot of headspace in there. He starts.
Listen, boy.
Oh my gosh,
I fucking love Tony.
Tony.
I
So
love
y'all.
where can people find you on the internet?
At Blotto, at fucking 4 shots. I don't give a fuck. Just find me. Type in Tony.
If you want to come over, my address is blah blah blah. Warren, come bring some fun times over.
Just type in my name and come
Bring
up.
the Miracle Whip.
Yeah.
And hey, if you want to find me, I'm only on Instagram, the California Hillbilly, because that's about all I can stomach. So join me. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you want to join me on Friday, every Friday morning we do a Zoom. Go onto my Instagram and we hang out and smoke. So we actually get to like hang with each other, and we get to see each other. And we just bring a cigar, grab some coffee, and let's smoke.
Nice.
Or depending on where you are in the world, maybe it's a cocktail. I don't care. But thanks all.
Yeah, and we do this show every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Remember to share and like the show. Every time you do, you enter your name in our drawing for Youngstown Coffee that will be done on the first episode for December. I'm keeping track of everybody's likes and shares. Even if you didn't do it tonight, if you're listening to us on the podcast, log into your Facebook and share the stream. I will count that. It doesn't have to be a live share. You just get on there and share it to your Facebook page, and I'll make sure that you get your name added so you can be a part of the contest and maybe win some free coffee in December. Tony.
Don't forget about developing Palates. You guys gotta follow these guys.
These guys are legit. Let's do a shot and close.
Let's do a shot, and then we're going to close it. This is going to be shot number
John,
8.
Aaron, thank you guys for joining us. Sorry, the rest of the crew did not get to join us. But
I know.
That's right.
We'll have them back
Whatever.
on. We'll have them back on.
Yeah, we
Thank
will.
you very much for having us on.
You
Appreciate
got
it.
it, man.
Shot number 8.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week at
The
8
dead
o'clock.
soldier.